The data centers, what are they for?
Yeah.
People don't know about them. They don't care very much. How can we bring people into this conversation?
What's made data centers so such a big deal is you're aggregating all of this compute, in a very, very small space that requires a lot of energy and a lot of cooling. But at the end of the day, it's just compute. So we're really agnostic on how these things are powered and how these things are cooled, which is a great opportunity because that means we can pick the best ways to power and cool these things. It's a great time in the industry, not just in the data center industry, but in the energy industry, because there's all these new, wonderful ideas on how to power not just data centers, but power the world. I think that there's a great opportunity for data centers and data center industry to help the energy industry accelerate these technologies.
There is kind of a bunch of complaints stacking up against data centers.
Sure. We build these very expensive buildings, and the power and the cooling is very, very critical. The data center industry could be early adopters for all this new energy technology. As a matter of fact, you're seeing it already. What we're doing is we're rolling out renewable diesel. There's all these new things that could happen down the road: hydrogen, small modular reactors, all this like really cool tech, but it could be potentially decades away. So right off the bat, Microsoft and the other hyperscalers have just said, we're going to do what we can now. What's commercially available now? Well, renewable diesel is available now, but all across the gamut, not just with energy, but things like concrete. There's actually more sustainable concrete that you can buy. And so this is just a great opportunity, and the hyperscaler companies like Microsoft have stepped up and said, we're going to be early adopters of this new tech.
So when are we seeing green components get into the construction of data center?
There's things that can be done now, like using renewable diesel, like purchasing low embodied carbon cement for the data center. Like if you can use mass timber framing instead of steel. There's all these things that you can do now.
You said you want to change the world. What kind of world, and why do you think the rest of the world want to be in a changed world?
There's a lot of pessimism around the future, but there is some optimism. And what can we do now that we've realized there's a problem, what can we do to sort of shift gears? Climate mitigation, things of that nature. The problem though is the timeline. So like I was saying earlier, there's all these new disruptive ideas, and when I ask these companies, how long until I can buy this stuff? At my scale, at a city scale, that kind of stuff. The timelines I see are many decades long. We don't have many decades.
How long do we have to decarbonize?
If there was a solution, next year, we would be all over it.
Who's doing the driving right now?
Nobody's doing the driving, and that's the problem.
Okay.
And so what the hyperscalers have done is we've stepped up and said, okay, since there's a lack of leadership at the government level, at the industry level, we're going to take on leadership. We're going to start taking the risk of being early adopters, investing in this technology, and trying to get these decades-long timelines down to something that's much more realistic and much more not realistic, but that fits within these climate timelines. Lithium-ion battery, when it was invented to when it became, commonplace, 70 years. We don't have 70 years.
No.
So how can early adopters like the hyperscalers, like Microsoft, how can potentially AI as a tool take that 7-decade timeline and get it down to something much, much shorter that's going to be relevant?